Are you ready for your pick a card this month? We are already in March 2021. So pick your card, pick A, B, C, or D. You can also call them 1, 2, 3, or 4. And let's see what the universe has in store for you. Happy solar return to all my Pisces out there, the sign of intuition. It's your time of year. So happy birthday to you. All right, everybody, let's get started. And remember, if you don't know how to pick a card or you've never done it before, feel free to watch my video. I have it in the description below on how to pick a card. Stack 1. Okay, you've got the Chariot as your theme for March. The Chariot card is a card of balancing between, if you're into the Tree of Life, if you're one of my students, then you know Geburah and Chesed at the top of the tree are there. You have the destruction and the creation energy. It's like a balance of solve e coagula. So it's true alchemy. And so for you for March, this is a time of you balancing those energies. It's fire and water on a higher level. Okay, so what I'm seeing here is that, it's like a time of balance for you. If you look at this right here, this is the Thoth deck. I'm using both the Thoth and the Rider-Waite. And you can see here that you have this disc, and it has both blue and red in it. And it also has 6 vibrational things kind of going out from it. So it's like a 6-pointed star, sacred geometry. And so that would symbolize Tiphareth, which is balance and connecting with the higher self. And the blue and the red are like water and fire, balancing your energies and like burning down the bad stuff and then bringing in the good stuff. Okay, so this is like an alchemical type of month for you. It's a time of balancing those energies. So let's look a little bit deeper into it besides just the archetype. Okay, so you're starting off as Queen of Pentacles in March. And so your energy is, it's almost like you're in rest. Like you're resting, and you're in a mode of like creation, but more of a like subtle, like building type of energy. So it's like coming from within you. You feel this energy of like you want to really like move this year. You want to really move forward. You really want to create. And so this energy is like you're the artist, and you are birthing something new. So that's how you're kind of coming in this month, is like rest and maybe not really moving as much as you want. But I wouldn't say it's a bad thing. It's just like your energy is very subtle, right? And so by the end of the month, you'll be moving more into the Knight of Pentacles, which means you will start focusing more and moving forward. You see how his direction is moving forward. He's standing, he's focusing. And so this creation energy, this energy of focus, this energy of creation and making something happen, it's going to start moving forward for you this month. Okay. And the stuck energies that you have is that confusion. Okay. So you have some confusion going on a bit. You have some energy of like, you're not sure. You don't know what's coming next. And you feel like you're stepping off. You feel a little foolish. You feel like you're stepping off into the unknown and not really sure where this journey is taking you. But you've been packing the right tools. You've been working on things, and you see there's a lot of sun energy here. There's also a lot of ice, which is aloneness. So it's like isolation. It's almost like this journey you've been taking on your own. And you also have energy of the Nine of Wands. And the Nine of Wands is you're a little beat up. You're a little burned out, a little bit traumatized. There's some things that are still bothering you right now, some things that are still karmically in your energy, right? That are bugging you, that are there within you, that are bringing you down a little bit. They're causing some blocks. But in terms of actions you should take, we have a lot of fire here for you. So you have the Emperor, and you also have the Five of Wands. These are both fire cards. These are cards of fire. Now go back to the Chariot, right? Your first card, your theme of the month. Look at this. Red and blue, fire and water balancing. Now, if you come in here to where you are supposed to be working more, we have red and blue. In fact, it's more red. And this is more both fire cards. And so change, 5 is change. And this is a card of like Gabara, which is Solvay. So it's time for you to really tap into your fire energy more this month. So you notice how you got a lot of pentacles, which are more about like that subtle energy, that creation mode, that structure mode, like trying to figure out what you should do. And so you have the Emperor here telling you that you need to take more action. There needs to be more activity, more change, more action, more drive, more ambition. So the things that you should do should be focusing more on building your fire element. Maybe invoking Michael, also called Archangel Michael, right? Invoking that fire element and working more with your fire, your internal fire, and really trying to dissolve the old and work on building something new, but from your passion, from your fire, from that part of yourself that's deep, that you feel, that part of your soul, right? So the Emperor card and the Five of Wands are your action cards. And so these cards are telling you, you need to work on the fire element. You need to make some changes, and you know that. You know you need to dissolve some old stuff. You know that you need to tap into more of your drive and your ambition, really that fire element, okay? And then finally, you've got the Universe as your final card. And the Universe, you can see this is the Thoth Universe card. I love this one. It's so beautiful. A lot of water. And so this card is telling you that, you know, if you look at this actually, and you go back to this card, the Chariot, you can see we have the 4, and then you have the 4. You have the same thing going on. So it's about balancing and also getting in touch more with your psychic senses and your astral connection and the other side, and like your soul purpose, and finding out more about what you should be doing in this lifetime. So really tapping into those 4 elements, the archangels. The archangels are elemental. They are those parts of our consciousness that teach us and help us and heal us. Okay, so these are representing those 4 archangels, those 4 elements within you: fire, air, earth, and water. And so it's time for you to really, really start working with those archangels, balancing those 4 elements, because this is looking really good. It's looking like you are really going to start connecting with your higher self. You're going to really start connecting with the higher side of you, okay? So this is like a merging of your personality, which is your soul here in this realm, with your higher self, which is more the divine self, the part of the self that's more connected to God, source, right? That part of yourself that's a little higher dimension. So this is like a really, really good card. So it just really means that you should, you know, balance that and use some more of that fire element within you. And eventually you're really going to start taking off in terms of your channeling abilities, your astral work, really seeing a lot of development come your way. But definitely really get into more of that fire element this month. Okay, tap into that, start invoking that, start working with Archangel Michael more. So anyways, I hope that was helpful. Let's move on to stack 2. Stack 2. If you chose stack 2, you've got the High Priestess card as your card for the month. This is like your theme of the month. And the High Priestess card, you can see here I'm using the Thoth Tarot deck, and this is the Aleister Crowley deck, and then also the Rider-Waite deck here. The High Priestess, though, it's a card of intuition. It's a card of being able to see beyond the veil. So the theme for you this month is that you are highly intuitive. It's like your energy is very high vibration right now. And you're probably having a lot of like dreams that are speaking to you. You're probably getting a lot of messages. Maybe you're seeing things out of the corner of your eye. You're just like really high vibration. So you're very tapped in naturally right now, because that energy is so high for you that you're just like, you could even be a little overwhelmed by this. I don't know. But highly intuitive, very tapped in astrally, and getting a lot of the astral information coming in. Now, let's take a look at your second card. This is your archetype coming into this month. This is your character that you're playing. And you have the Queen of Wands. Again, highly intuitive card. So this is what you're coming in like. You're coming in on fire. You're coming in high intuition. It's like energy is just this energy is very high vibration again. So you're coming in high vibration, you're coming in intuition, you are on fire right now, you are feeling the heat, you are feeling the sun, you are feeling that solar energy, you're tapped in. But here's the thing. This is the archetype that you will be by the end of the month. This is the one that you are working towards right now. And that is grounding that energy. Okay? So you're very high vibration, but you also have to be grounded as you work with it. Okay? That can get a little bit dangerous, getting so high vibe without being grounded. So one of the things about this month that's important for you is to ground, is to tap in to this. This is actually a feminine card. Even though with the Rider-Waite they used pages, it really should be princesses. Because this is really a feminine card. It's a card of tapping into Mother Nature. It's a card of really grounding yourself and like maybe taking your shoes off and going out barefoot into the outside. Now I know it's super cold in some places, you can't do that, right? If you're in Florida, you can. I'm in Florida, right? So anyways, there's a lot of other ways you can do this. You can do what's called sensation enhancing exercises, where you sit down and you tap into the now. You tap into a sensation like listening. Tap into a sensation like feeling. What does the temperature feel like? What does your skin feel like? What is the smell right now? And that will help to ground you. So practicing like mindfulness training, practicing sensation training exercises, practicing anything that's grounding, getting you into the physical. Like for instance, maybe working with crystals and stones, anything earthy. Maybe, really meditating more, but in a way that's not trying to get you out there and up, but more like grounded into the earth. So imagining, for instance, that you have roots growing into the earth would be a really good exercise for you. So there needs to be some grounding here. And it just seems like you're very, very high vibration, and you just need to make sure that you're also grounding. Okay, and then you also have the Four of Cups. The Four of Cups is a card of a heart chakra block. So this card is saying where your blocks are. These are the next two cards are all about, the issues you're having right now. Okay. And so the Four of Cups, this is a card of, even though you're high vibration and your energy is on fire and you're probably seeing things and stuff and hearing things or whatever it might be, you're very astral. You're also having a little bit of a heart chakra block. So there's something here still that is restricting you and holding you back from really getting to where you want to be. Okay. So that heart chakra block, really important to acknowledge. And also there's some sacral stuff going on. Your sacral chakra, which is down here, this is your creation energy, your energy of really connecting with other people. Okay, so you might have some cords going on. Maybe you have some cords of attachment with maybe an ex-lover or a vampire or somebody that maybe is in your family or friends, or I don't know, somebody you just know or have known that's still kind of ciphering off your energy. Because you're getting definitely some weird ones considering how high vibe you are. It's like you're a light worker, or you have a high vibe in terms of your light body, and you have a lot of energy, but then you have these weird blocks, which are very emotional blocks, very much tied to other people, right? So heart chakra, sacral chakra, these are your two intimate love type of blocks, or love type of chakras that are blocked. So the moon card is really saying that you need to be careful, with who you're connecting with. So it could be somebody in your energy right now. It could be somebody from your past that's still connected to you, and kind of, if you're ever having dreams or thoughts about somebody all the time, especially if you're not talking to them anymore, it means you have a cord of attachment. These cords of attachment are actual real cords. They are etheric energy cords. They're not cords that are just like a thought, or like, oh, it's just an idea. No, these are real cords that you have to energetically pull out. Qigong masters can do this, pranic healers can do this, and some alchemical magicians can do it. I teach this in the membership where you can pull them out, and we're actually having a workshop, a live one in March on this, because there's too many people that are having a hard time with it. So this is your advice card. You have a couple of advice cards here. The first one is the Three of Swords. This means that you have some things going on with these chakras that need to be released. Okay, this is a card of, it's like, you know it, you feel it, and you need to let it go. You need to drain it out. You need to cut it. You see the swords, right? This is a card of grief, and it's a card of like a bitter sorrow. And you can see the rain, it's like air and water flowing. So it's about releasing that. So the swords pierce through the heart to show you that it's time to release. It's time to let go. It's time to cut. It's time to, this is like in the Tree of Life, we know it as Gabara. Gabara is all about cutting. It's all about getting rid of. It's all about dissolving. There's some dissolving that needs to go on for you energetically. Okay. And then we have the Empress card. And the Empress card is telling you advice here about self-love. So when she comes into a reading, she is all about you connecting with your passions, your desires, your self-esteem, your self-worth, and feeling good about yourself. She is a creation energy, but an energy of creation in terms of you loving yourself. It's not about you needing to love anyone else right now. It's about you loving yourself, you coming into your own, you really just healing yourself and working with yourself. It's a beautiful card. It really, really is. And then we finally have your goal of the month. By the end of the month, this is a lesson that you need to learn. This is the Death card. And the Death card is actually not a card of real death. It's not a card of like actually dying, okay? This is a Death card in terms of you making transitions and big, big changes in your life. Okay, so let's go back. Look at this card here. You've got the letting go card of the grief. You've got the blocks going on, right? So this is about learning how to end things properly for yourself. You don't need to go get closure from anyone else. This has to just come from you, from within you, right? So it's all about you learning to cut your cords, you learning to renew yourself and transform from the internal, okay? Change your vibration and do a mental transmutation yourself to be able to change your external world, okay? First, you have to change the internal because you're high vibration. You know that, and you're super high vibration, okay? But you have got to learn how to ground and cut and dissolve and let go and change from the internal so that way you are living your best life instead of just being high vibration in terms of like spiritual energy, in terms of like being able to see astral and feel astral or whatever it might be that you do. You want to also be able to ground yourself and really transform mentally and emotionally and energetically from other people and really work on you and who you are and being happy with you and not worrying about anybody else ciphering off of you. And really, this isn't about you trying to get more connected right now because you're connected astrally. That's fine for you. Yours is about transforming and, you know, stopping letting other people pull off of you. Okay? That's what this is about this month for you. Okay? All right, so let's take a look at stack 3. Stack 3. So for stack 3, you have a very interesting, very spiritual type of month coming up. Okay, so looking at your first card, this is the theme of the month for you. And you can see I'm using the Thoth Tarot deck, which is Aleister Crowley's deck, and the Rider-Waite deck. Okay, so Prince of Wands. You're going to see some weird synchronicities in this reading. Okay, so Prince of Wands, this is your card of the month. This is like the theme of the month for you. And the Prince of Wands is fire. This is an energy of like just kind of diving right into things, being super spontaneous, super fiery. The energy is very heated for you. Okay. So the energy is very up and very, very high energy in terms of like, you know, you're very driven right now. You're very like pushing yourself. And it's just very passionate. Okay. And so you can see that this card is fire. It is completely fire. Well, look at this. You have the same card, but from the other deck. So this is the archetype that you're riding in on. This is the archetype that you are right now. So you are the Knight of Wands. So the theme of the month is the Knight of Wands, and then, or you can call it Prince of Wands. And then you are coming in as this archetype, as this character of the Knight of Wands. So you are essentially this fire. You are really more on the element of fire than anything else. So you're probably a bit imbalanced, okay? And too much heat, too much fire in your energy. So maybe too much passion, too much emotion, too much going on in terms of your fire element. A lot of times when we have this, it will become a little bit too spontaneous, a little bit too risky, a little bit too pushy, maybe irritable or angry. Energy is just very high and very edgy, and very just like heated. So if you think about the heat, you think about the fire, just place that into also the mental and behavior realm, and then you can kind of see how that's playing out in your life. So there's just like a lot of fire, and there's a lot of spontaneity. And by the end of the month, you're going to be more of the Knight of Swords. And the Knight of Swords is more of the thinker. It's more mental, okay? It's also more tapped in to like your heart chakra, which is air. So more tapped into a little bit higher on your chakra system, because right now you're very much in the solar plexus. You're very much in this fire element. And now, so by the end of the month, you're going to be a little bit more in tune with the heart chakra, hopefully, and a little bit more in tune with mental transmutation. So changing the way you think about some things, changing your mental state, changing your emotional state a bit. So I see some changes coming for you by the end of the month. And that's especially good because you have the Nine of Swords as your area of blocks. And the Nine of Swords it's almost like your mental body is kind of getting to you. So a lot of times when you get this, it's like you're having some maybe nightmares, insomnia, anxiety, depression. So you're just you're thinking too much and things are bothering you. So you're usually a little bit down when you get this, maybe a lot down. And you also have the Ace of Cups. So it looks like it's about love. It's about some type of relationship. Probably a love affair, love relationship, or it could be even someone that you love. Maybe something's not going well, or you're worried, right? So there's definitely a very high emotion. And so that's why it makes sense that you would have all that fire, either anger or irritability, or something going on where you just feel very heated, and you're not sleeping well, which will make you edgy, right? So this Ace of Cups, though, definitely something to do with your heart, something to do with your feelings, your emotions, something you feel very connected to, probably a soulmate. And soulmates don't have to be lovers. I mean, soulmates can be family or friends as well. They are. But okay, so let's take a look at your advice cards. So your advice cards for the month, we have Seven of Cups and we have Temperance, okay? So the Seven of Cups, this advice card is really telling you that you need to get a little more into the clouds. Okay, you need to get a little bit more into your dreams. You need to start working more with that air element. Okay, you have a lot of fire right now. So to get out of that fire, get more into the astral, get more into your dream world, get more into escapism. Okay, now I'm not saying like tune out, but what I'm saying is do more meditation, journal your dreams. That will help you right now. Maybe if you if you enjoy a glass of wine, or maybe you like to smoke or something, do a little bit of that. Like, not too much, don't go crazy, but do something to relax yourself, to get yourself a little bit, lighter. Okay. So this is a card of like, it's a card of a mixture of like water and fire, which creates like a steam. Okay. And it's about like dreaming. It's about getting into the astral. It's about getting more, into the air, kind of taking all that water and fire and like letting it steam up. So try to relax this month. Work on relaxing, work on meditating, work on getting into the astral, into your dreams, letting go a little bit more. And then you have the Temperance card. Now here's another synchronicity for you guys. I pulled from two different decks, and look again, you have the same card in both decks, Temperance. Temperance is actually called Art in the Thoth deck, but it's the same thing. So your advice card is Temperance. So the one was, right, the Seven of Cups, but then the other one is this card here, which is all about alchemy. It's about letting your consciousness flow. You see, you might not be able to tell on the video, but if you look at this card, you can see the water is like moving, and they have 1 foot here in the water and they have 1 foot on the rock. Stability, groundedness, but allowing pure energy consciousness to flow. Okay, that's what that means. And you also have the path right here to the royal crown, the sun within, the Christ consciousness, Buddha consciousness, Krishna consciousness. Okay, so any of those parts of yourself that are alchemical gold, that part of yourself that is your savior, that part of yourself that can, take you to that higher level of being in touch with your higher self. And also you can see that the cups are flowing, right? And has the fire triangle right here. So this is a balancing of fire and water. In fact, if you look at the next card, which is the same card but from a different deck, it's the same thing. It's red and blue, okay? Fire and water, because this card is ultimately your growth this month, okay? So you have your advice card and your growth, same card. So they really are essentially saying the same thing. You can see the red and the blue. It's like a blue and white, okay? So it symbolizes water and fire. And so they're mixing the water and the fire energies. So these are the two opposing energies within you, okay? This is like the energy of water is the energy of your sensitivity, your intuition, your emotions. And then the fire energy is that part of you that's heated, fiery, okay? So they're like two different extremes. And these two different extremes, these polar energies, they're being mixed together alchemically to balance you, okay? In fact, she has the hexagram right here on her chest, which symbolizes balance. And she has the alchemical gold around her, okay? So really, I'm not going to go into this crazy on this card, but this card is about balance. It's about alchemical balance. It's about transmuting your own emotions and your own mental energy, and being able to polarize any state that you have in life, like whether it's fear or whether it's depression or whether it's anger. Any of those states have their opposites. Everything's polar, everything's dual, right? And so this is about you learning to transmute those polar states. Okay, so we go back to what is your polar state, right? So you have to learn how to balance it to the opposite. So whatever you're going through, whatever state you are in that is this negativity for you right now, whether it's that depression or fear or anxiety or loneliness, anything, anger, whatever it might be that's dragging you down, you have to learn to rise above it through alchemical mental transmutation. And the first step is knowing. The first step is knowing, okay, where am I at with my states? Which state is dragging me down? And what is the opposite polar of that state? So for instance, if it's fear, it would be courage. Okay? So to rise above fear, you would have to go up in degrees up to courage. Okay? And to do that, you want to meditate on it. You want to meditate on courage, the feeling of courage, visualize the courage, do shadow work on the fear and see where that's coming from, right? So there's a lot of different things you can do in alchemy to transmute and change those states that you're in, okay? So whether it's, more visualization or shadow work, that's going to be up to you. You can also use mala beads, right? So this is something I always teach everybody. You take your mala beads, close your eyes, imagine and visualize that, who you want to be or how you want to feel. And then you keep saying it to yourself. I am this, I am love, I am courageous, whatever it might be. And you just keep doing that until it reprograms you. There's a lot of different ways to go about it, but that's a little bit about mental transmutation. Shadow work is really the most helpful way to clear all of that stuff out and polarize in the right way. But anyways, temperance. That's what it's about for you, and I hope that was helpful. All right, let's take a look at stack 4. Stack 4. Wow, Happiness. That's the theme of the month for you. How awesome. Okay, so we have the Sun card here. And this is actually the Thoth deck, which is Aleister Crowley's deck. And then I also have the Rider-Waite deck for you. All right, a little mix here. But the theme of the month for you is the Sun. And so that's like an energy of happiness. That's an energy of you working on your happiness, okay, for March. This is a card of balance and also you really just connecting with your higher self and all those aspects of yourself in pure bliss and happiness. All right, so yeah, that sounds really good in theory. And you finding your alchemical gold. When I look at this, I see a lot of like solar plexus energy, a lot of gold. This energy is a good combination of a lot of different energies, but it's very solar. It's very much about you really just tapping into yourself and your happiness. So that's your theme of the month. But let's look at the nitty gritty. Okay, so the King of Cups is how you're coming into this month. You're very emotional, controlled emotion, right? You're very focused more on the water element in your life right now. You're more focused on relationships and feelings and like really just focused on the water element, on your connections with other people. But by the end of the month, I see you cutting some things. I see you see the butterfly up there, right? I see you making a change. I see you becoming a stronger willed, and also better decision maker. You're gonna have to make some decisions, right? And then we have the Nine of Cups as your blocks. So here we have, this is where you're having some issues, and it looks like relationships. We have Two of Cups and Nine of Cups. Nine of Cups is kind of happiness, but not true happiness. Not the happiness that you could really have. And so you see he has his arms folded like this, which is a symbol of a heart chakra constriction. It's like, I'm happy. If somebody does that, I'm happy, they're being defensive, right? They're not necessarily being open and really happy, okay? So Nine of Cups and Two of Cups is showing as, it's almost like somebody is kind of pulling from you, and maybe you don't want to admit it to yourself, or maybe you just don't want to deal with it, right? But you definitely have somebody pulling off of you, kind of ciphering your energy. And so you're not truly necessarily happy right now because there is something going on there. And then you have the Ace of Pentacles, okay? And you also got the Hangman. So these are your advice cards. And your advice cards are, Ace of Pentacles is about you really focusing on you and what you want to manifest and what you want in life, and focusing also on grounding yourself, right? We're focusing more on like, where do you want to live? What do you want to be? Who, what do you want your life to look like? Not about other people, but about you. What do you want? And the Hangman, this is your other advice card. This is about you letting go, okay? Really letting go of things that don't serve you. So he's flipped upside down and he's just hanging, right? And he has the sun around him. He's learning to look at things in a new way. He's learning to let go of things. So anything he doesn't necessarily need from the past, he's letting go of, okay? So this is telling you, some advice for you is to learn to let go right now. This is going to help your happiness, to really just let things happen the way that they're going to happen without trying so hard to make things happen the way you think they should. Let it go, right? And in fact, your final card about the most growth you'll get this month if you take this advice is the Eight of Cups. Eight of Cups. This is about cutting connections. This is about walking away. This is about letting go. It's a card of emotion, but having discipline in that emotion. So instead of just going with how everybody else wants you to do things, really cutting ties that aren't serving you anymore. Really learning to walk away from connections that cipher your energy, walking away from connections that don't serve you best and they don't lead to your ultimate alchemical gold, that happiness that this month is about for you. It's about you being happy. That's what the universe is trying to tell you. And so letting go of things is a big, big lesson for you this month so that you can really focus on your happiness and also really focusing on just not just your joy and happiness, but also focusing on the best life that you can have. Okay? So thanks for watching.